Hi everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Claire, I'm your 7th star mystic. For a long time when I first started my YouTube channel, I was calling myself 7 as kind of a disguise name for my channel, and I now feel that I'm at a point where I can start using my real name. My real name is Claire. I think most of you know that if you're following me, but if you didn't, now you do. So I'm going to be doing a reading today, a tarot reading, talking about general advice or some food for thought to kind of help you out with your day, help you out with your life, maybe give you some perspective that you had not thought about beforehand. So these videos are meant to be fun and helpful. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a, what's the word? An expert on you or your life. You are. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to stray from my normal deal where you see my face the whole time. I'm going to show you the cards more than my face. But before I switch it over to my spread table, I'm going to draw a sacred geometry card for you all. And this could be helpful reminders of advice. I have pre-shuffled everything, so when I'll do one shuffle here just for the sake of it, and then I'll draw a card for everybody. So this is the card. That's awesome. This card's called Empowerment. I really like this side of things. Let me go ahead and find that. I'm going to read you the description in the book. Shout out to my beautiful friend Clay who gifted me with this deck. This is what it looks like in the book, which is super cool. This is what it looks like. And then I'm going to show you the coding of it while I read this. The energy of empowerment reminds you of the fact that you are powerful beyond measure. Do not hide behind the fears, for you have endless capacities. Instead, embrace them and be all that you are. So if you're into daily affirmations, this is not in the book, but I'm going to sort some affirmations out from this. I have endless capacities and I embrace any fear that holds me back. I am powerful beyond measure. So, I have a story. I went to Big Lots recently and had a conversation with the attendant at the cash register, and I mentioned the idea of having limitless power and potential, and it struck them as kind of egotistical. They said that to me, which I thought was really interesting, because I'm just one person, and you're just one person. We only have so much power, but the power lies within what we create within our own lives. So even though I may not have the power to change what I can't control, I do have the power to adjust and work with the things that I am in control of. So it's not like I'm walking around thinking I'm a god. Some people do feel that way, like that they are their own god. Overall, this empowerment concept is meant to remind us that it's all up to us. Everything's up to us. And even if we feel like we're not in control of something, we're in control of what we can do about it. So hopefully that card and that message helps some of you. I'm going to switch it to my card table now. The first card I'm going to draw is from the White Witch Tarot. And this is a super cool tarot deck of only major arcanas. I'm going to draw a theme card. And I feel that, I read for a pretty small collective. Excuse me. So if you're watching this video, just know that I don't have a lot of people that watch my videos. So because of that, these messages are going to be more, like, it might be easier for you to apply them to your life because I don't have as many energies that I'm picking up on. So this is all going to be general though. So, oh yeah, so okay, the message we have today is the star. However, it did come out in the reverse. Now, when I was pre-shuffling, there was another card that came out in the reverse, and I realized that I had the deck upside down, so I turned it upright. But doing this reading, I grabbed it upside down again. So I realize what I'm supposed to do, which is talk about the idea of the star reversed, which is major themes of feeling like you are not enough, major themes of feeling like you can't ever have what you desire or dream of, that your dreams are just never going to come true. So these are some themes that we may be touching on in our reading today loosely. This can also be a lack of self-confidence and self-esteem. So we all experience this in one way or another. Let's see how I want to lay this out. I've never done a layout like this before, so this is kind of fun. So we may be touching on themes like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it off and see what comes out. I hope you all have had a beautiful holiday so far. Wow, that's actually really beautiful. So the next card that came out was the moon, literally the stars and the moon. I'm hearing, for some reason this feels really romantic, wanting to give the stars and the moon, wanting to reach for the stars, what is it? Aim for the moon, reach for the stars, kind of a thing. I know I botched that phrase, but you get what I'm saying. This is very much about what you want to accomplish and how you maybe feel like you have no idea how you're going to do it, for some of you. Now, if I say something that doesn't resonate, please don't stretch it to make it fit. It might be for one person or a few people listening, and it might not be for you. So if I say something and you're like, no, that's not me. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I'm doing. That's super awesome. I'll try to say as many things that are relevant to as many of you as I can. But, so the stars and the moon. So also a big theme of the moon card is, a big theme of the moon card is working through our own inner demons, working through our own darkness, trying to see in the dark so that we can basically when you do that, it's so that you have more clarity when you're in the light. So when you're trying to see in the dark and your eyes adjust and you figure it out, when you see the light, it can be kind of blinding. I don't know why I'm picking up on that, but when you see the light, it might take a minute for your eyes to adjust. For some of you, you're making some breakthroughs on your own self-image, and you have to go about it gently. You can't just go from insecure to 100% confident and wham bam, thank you ma'am. Some of you may be able to do that, but another message with the moon is that there are things that there's things in the work behind the scenes, such as during a theater production. There are all kinds of things happening backstage. By the time one of the main players gets on stage, that's what you see. The moon card represents all of the things that happened before they are stage ready. And there's a lot. There is a lot, I will tell you. So this can also indicate things that are happening behind the scenes. And, you might not know what they are. That might not be accessible to you. So let's see what else comes out for the moon and all of this going on so far. Okay. Something in your life is going to be moving very quickly. very quickly. We have the Knight of Fire and the Eight of Fire, okay? These two cards are extremely quick. If you think about runners of track and field, there are the long distance runners and there are the sprinters. This is some sprinter energy we got going on right now. Maybe you're in the home stretch of something for some of you. What I'm basically gathering is that whatever it is that is kind of like hidden, maybe these fears, subconscious fears, insecurities, triggers, things like this, maybe you will be figuring it all out real quick. If you're not figuring it out real quick, then something's happening, okay? This Knight of Fire is extreme. This, like the card says, a sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. And then the Eight of Fire. Events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over. Many things happening at once. So, it's like something's happening, things are happening behind the scenes, maybe you can't see something for what it is. Overall, there's this energy, this is kind of a breakthrough energy I'm seeing. It's funny because I said breakthrough earlier and I didn't know why, but there's some kind of breakthrough energy, which is really exciting. I'm so excited for everybody, and myself included. Like, that could be a big thing or a small thing, it doesn't matter. That's really cool energy, though. It's something quick, but it's just like that. It happens in an instant. Oh, Eight of Fire can also be communication as well. Something being communicated as well. It can also be travel. So for some of you, you're zipping around, traveling quickly on things. So let's see what else comes out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Queen of Fire. If you before were feeling like maybe you're insecure, you're not good enough, you can't quite attain this message. If you can't attain your dreams, or you've been trying to heal and feel a sense of healing and it's been difficult for you, this card, the Queen of Fire, is a really helpful and positive energy. She's very confident in herself. She's very self-assured. She loves herself, and she is very warm and exciting of a person. So whether this is you, somebody you know, or literally a situation, if it's not even a person in your life, but this is an energy that's super helpful, because basically it's telling me that, you know, the card we got, the Sacred Geometry card we got was empowerment. She's very empowered. And it says, stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. This is a very independent energy. The Queen and the King of Fire are both highly independent of the court cards. And I just feel really good about this for a lot of people. And if you're watching this, I feel really good about it, knowing that you'll be understanding that you're hearing this for a reason. I'm seeing a transformation for some people, going from a crazy period of time into a time of healing. And sometimes healing, and that's exactly it. Let me tell you, the moon and the stars, but also when healing happens, there's so much our bodies are doing to heal that we have no idea what that even is, unless you're a doctor or well-versed in healing. It's like you have no idea what's happening. Your body is healing. All of these things, all of these mechanisms are firing, and your white blood cells are hard at work. And then I'm seeing this as a major comeback. Maybe you were feeling down and out somehow, or you weren't feeling super confident, but no matter how you were feeling, or why this is some really, like, you can't, it's almost like you snap out of something. And if you don't snap out of something to rise, it's like, okay, for some of you, you'll be snapping out of something that it could be a mindset, negative thinking, being down on yourself, saying that you can't do it, or that you can't be who you want to be, or you can't do what you want to do. Like, it's like, oh, I wish I could do that, but it's too unattainable. It's almost like looking at something on a pedestal, you know, and being like, I could never be that, I could never do that. But that's not true. She, Queen of Fire, you know, I'm seeing very clearly, she refuses to be put on a pedestal. She wants to be on the ground doing stuff. She doesn't want to be, I mean, she loves the attention. You know, this person could be very theatrical, could be very much like very good at performing arts, very good at dancing, performing in any way. But it's overall, you can be that and you can do that. So let's see what else comes out. I feel like I want to bring out some more cards to interact with in the spread. But, ooh, we have a Queen of Air coming out now. That's cool. That's super cool. Queen of Air, see, it's funny because I was actually channeling the Queen of Air when I was talking to you about this Queen of Fire. This is empowerment in not only your body but your mind. So if you felt, I'm hearing control or out of control in some way, these two energies are helping you hone in while also being gentle on yourself. We don't have the kings here. The kings can be a little bit more hard on us, a little bit. You know, they're a little bit more driven. And the queens are also driven, but it's still a traditionally more nurturing and curious and explorative kind of energy, whereas the kings can be a little bit more direct. So there's this energy of the Queen of Fire where she is just passionate and she's so full of vitality and life force. She loves life. And then here we have the Queen of Air, who is extremely intelligent. And if you thought the Queen of Fire was independent, I was thinking, out of all the court cards, who would be more independent? And I'm like, the Queen and King of Fire are pretty independent, but the Queen and King of Air are also like highly independent. So there's this era, okay, no matter what your life is, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're going through or your circumstances, you are reclaiming your independence in some way or another, okay? You know, this could be influencing the people around you as well. That's really cool. The Queen of Air is good at strategy, and she has a really good way of communicating, and she knows how to communicate with so many different types of people. And so you could become more versatile when it comes to communicating and speaking to others. This is also helping you become more objective. Any kind of mopey feelings you have, or maybe even self-pity, this Queen of Air is very helpful in being like, that's not real. Don't dwell in that. Rise above it and see how excellent you are, truly. This could also be, I'm reading this for some of you as the same, like you can harness the Queen of Fire and you can harness the Queen of Air, which is all very exciting, and it's all lots of movement. Think of a fire. A fire needs oxygen to flourish. And so this has a major theme around your life force. What makes you feel like alive? What makes you feel like life is worth living? And how can you feel good about those things? And what can you do? And there are attainable ways of doing the things that you love. for your own, no matter what circumstances you're in. So for some of you, though, this may be two different people, the Queen of Fire and the Queen of Air. Maybe this is somebody you work with. Maybe this is a collaborative team. So, there could be different ways to read that. I'm going to get a few more out for you all. So there is some quick movement into this. It's definitely about empowerment. It's definitely about empowerment. That's cool. So the next cards out are Unity and the Two of Cups. Super, super beautiful energy. Super beautiful energy. I know this ring light makes an imprint, but I wanted you to see the cards. So the Unity card is traditionally the High Priest of the Tarot deck. The High Priest is extremely wise and loving and giving and nurturing. He's very good at creating systems where people feel included. He wants everybody to feel included at his best. But the thing about the High Priest is he's very traditional. He's the kind of person that says, there is a very excellent wheel of time that I abide by personally. That's what he would say. He says, there are people out there and they reinvent the wheel, and they do that for very specific reasons and purposes, and they feel called to do that. He goes with what has already been established, that works, that is tried and true, on a very spiritual level. It's not just practical, it's spiritual. So he is more traditional, especially when it comes to organizations. This talks about places that have rules and regulations and the structure in which you function. Especially think about a classroom setting. The students are all required and expected to abide by certain rules. That's an analogy, doesn't really work here, but I wanted to give you an example because this is about groups of people. Here it says, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. For you watching, unless you feel like you want a mentor for any reason, you should. But, with this empowerment and this independence, please don't let anybody sway you from doing what you need to do to feel like life is great and things are moving forward and you are feeling clear-minded and like driven about things that you want to be doing. And but okay, so there's like this High Priest card with the Two of Water. Some of you could literally be getting engaged. Like, that's what these cards together can mean. Some of you can be getting engaged. You could be coming together if you're single and looking for or interested in dating. This is a really good sign for you. This is a really good sign. If you're single and looking for a non-conventional relationship, you might want to find a like-minded person and establish your own rules with them. Because this Unity card can also be non-traditional viewpoints. It can be both sides of the coin. So, I'm saying that because the Two of Cups is all about relationships. It's all about relationships or close friendships. So, and then Unity is like becoming one. Even though it's the High Priest card, High Priests are traditionally known to become one with spirit consciousness. And so if you're a person that's really interested in becoming one with something, that's a really good sign for you. I will say, though, this definitely tends towards relationships, friendships, family, somebody that you're thinking of that you'd really like to be close to or closer to. If you're already with somebody, it's going to go to the next level. I'm being serious. It's very beautiful. It's almost, if you're a spiritual person, like for me, I'm like, love is my religion. And I'm not talking about just what you traditionally think of as love. I mean, there's so many forms of love. I don't know if I should call it my religion, but I'm just saying that you are going to see this energy in your life of becoming one with something, becoming close to someone, um, getting some action in the dating field if that's what you want. That's a really good omen for you. I'm going to pull just a few more before I call this reading to close. Any other messages? Yeah, and so especially if you are having problems with self-esteem and self-worth, this is all really good omens for you in your relationships. And I had a card that fell. What is it? Okay, for some of you, make sure that you release the past, okay? Release any heavy burdens that have haunted you. I'm not talking just about, I'm really feeling that this is mentality. I'm really feeling this is mentality and your literal philosophy on life. And your philosophy on life may have made you feel like you weren't good enough or something. It may have made you feel like this is, especially with this unity card, if you're like, I am the person who, in a relation, think about the Breakfast Club. If any of you have ever seen the Breakfast Club, there's like, 5 or 6 archetypes. There's a goth person, a jock, a preppy rich lady, a really dingy kind of streetwise guy, and then the brains, the guy who's super smart, right? And then maybe you're like, I've always been this person. That's who I've been. But if it makes you feel like crap, and if it makes you feel like, man, I wish I wasn't that. I wish I was something else. That's for some of you. Maybe that analogy is helpful. Stop limiting yourself is basically what I'm saying. And also, if something feels too heavy to carry or too burdensome, especially I'm serious, especially mentalities around yourself. I'm not talking about how you look at other people right now. And in some spreads, this 10 of fire could mean a lot of different things, but literally right now what I'm talking about is how you look at yourself, how you see yourself, how you put yourself into, how you limit yourself, and you put all of this baggage on yourself, and it's not necessary. And then you say, oh, I can't get what I want. You were saying I can't get what I want. It's too unattainable. It's too hard. I can't do it. Put down some of these burdens, and then you will be able to do it. You will be able to. The last 3 cards I'm going to touch on. The Hanged Man, the 5 of Water, and Justice. So there may have been something that was kind of at a pause or a standstill. How do I do this? There may have been something that was kind of at a pause or a standstill in your life, and it was making you feel really sad and upset. The thing about this awakening card is, when this card comes up, it says you need to pause and gain a new perspective. So you needing to, and in order to gain this empowerment that we're talking about, pausing and reflecting, waiting for something, and it's interesting because in the first part of the reading, it's almost like this was like the premonition, and then I started getting into what the energies that we're dealing with are. So I feel like no matter what, there's going to be a lot of quick movement in the next couple months, or depending on what your situation is, it could be immediately. And I'm hoping that it's immediate, that you start moving into this mentality of, I am so good enough. I'm so very good enough, and I am so smart, and give yourself credit for all the amazing things that you are. And it's okay. And while in doing that, it's not always fun and rainbows. You have to look at the things that have made you sad, that have made you feel like it wasn't enough. Like here it says, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation. And maybe, you know, in time you can start to understand um, how everything that happens can be helpful in some way. It really can. But I know that's hard to deal with. But this has to do with right and wrong. Some of you have encountered a situation where you were being offered things or you encountered things that were not, they did not fulfill you emotionally. And justice here says that you stood up for yourself, or you will stand up for yourself, or you should stand up for yourself and what is right and wrong. I will or will not be treated this certain way. That's kind of what I was talking about here with relationships. You know, establishing what is right and wrong, establishing what is okay, what's not okay. Maybe in the past you've had relationships where um, it just wasn't satisfactory. This is a dissatisfied. And also dissatisfaction moving into sadness and even grief. And it's all because there was an imbalance. But it seems like this is all, like, I just don't think this is happening, or it's that it will happen, or maybe it is still happening for some of you, but what I really feel is that these two, with this Hanged Man and this Five of Cups, it's a period of reflection and just giving yourself time, giving yourself time to heal, giving yourself time to process, giving yourself time to recover from something maybe, because this Justice card says that there will be this balance. It says, fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs, right? So that's a really beautiful message to end on. That is empowerment. It's almost like this is where we're going with this spread. Like we started with empowerment and we basically ended with empowerment. You're empowered to say what you will and won't accept in your life. So I hope this reading was awesome for you. I hope that it was helpful somehow and that you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And I'll be back with you soon. So take care until then.